everybody. Welcome to Pop Jedi. I'm, of course, one of your hosts, Rob DiLauro, and with me, as always, is the Jedi Order, starting with Di Marie. Di, what's going on?
Hey, guys. Happy to be back.
And, of course, Sith Jade is with us. Sith, what's going on?
Hi, guys.
First off, before we start, we just want to thank you guys for your continued love and support and, breaking us through a ceiling that's really difficult on YouTube when it comes to viewership, and that's the 1,000 mark. And we're able to do that in 4 episodes with the WandaVision retrospective. So thank you guys so much for your love for the show and your appreciation for us. I get a lot of really great, responses from people when it comes to, just being excited, for a new episode coming up and whatnot. And, we're just so happy that this endeavor, is working because we love doing it. And, we really do adore pop culture. So it's great that people are actually, seeing our credibility and, we've got so much stuff planned for the future. So just keep that in mind. And with that, we are actually going to start off with top Jedi news. So Di, what do you got for the week?
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is coming out with a game called Shredder's Revenge. We don't have an exact date on when this is going to be released, but when it does, it will be hitting different consoles and on Steam here soon. So,
I'm not a major Ninja Turtles fan, but I do remember those games. I'm an Eastman and Laird guy. That's where my turtle love comes in. When they were doing the old black and white graphic novels, but I did play the games, and that those arcade games, like 8 quarters, like there was no tomorrow. It was so much fun to play those games. So it was cool to see that that this company is actually kind of focusing on the actual retro style of those games. I'm excited for this one because those games are really cool. Really kind of state of the art for the time. And I guess if there's anything to say about it is, for any Faith No More fans out there, like Mike Patton is doing the theme song for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is crazy.
Super excited to see that.
And it's really good. Apparently Mike Patton's like a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. So he wanted to do it. And I guess, he wanted to do it for like a nephew or something like that. So, yeah, it's a really good theme though. If you guys, can find it on YouTube, check it out. It's
it slaps.
Yeah, it definitely slaps.
Right back to the 90s.
Yeah.
Sith, do you have anything to mention about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game? Are you excited about it or?
I'm excited about it. I have played them a few times, mainly with friends. So I wasn't really allowed to play video games when I was younger. So I had to, sneak over to friends' houses and do it. But the nostalgia aspect of it and just, I'm so excited to see it and attempt to play it, even if I'm not super good at it.
In horror news, there was actually an announcement from Bruce Campbell that they're going to start filming Evil Dead Rise is the name of the new film. And they're going to start filming that this year in 2021, which is really exciting. I think they're filming that in New Zealand, but it actually is going to have a more urban setting. So it's going to be the first time, aside from Army of Darkness, that will actually be focused in, that's not, like in a cabin, like, in some, deep, dark woods.
Yeah, somewhere abandoned off in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. So it's actually going to be like an actual cityscape. And there's a lot of things that you could do with that, in terms of like, people's like either their psychosis or, something that actually affects the entire city or whatever. But, it sounds really exciting that we're still getting some Evil Dead stuff, of course, with the game and also this new film. Really not much else to say about it though, because
well, if you guys don't know, the movie is going to be directed by Lee Cronin. He's a director from Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
So I checked out some of his trailers. He directed movies called Hole in the Ground, Through the Night.
Mm-hmm.
They're very dark and ominous. So I think that he's going to put a really good fresh spin on the new Evil Dead movie.
That's awesome.
Well, the thing about Evil Dead, I guess the one thing that we can mention is that I personally am a huge fan of Mia, of Jane Levy's character Mia from the remake. I think the remake's pretty spectacular. In fact, I'd probably call it one of the better remakes that's ever been made.
Same, yeah. For sure.
But I guess they're still focusing on the female heroine when it comes to this particular story, which is great. You know what I mean? But I was just kind of hoping that maybe the story of Mia would actually continue, especially the fact that now she also has a chainsaw in her hand and that kind of stuff. But we'll see what happens. I mean, Sam and Company haven't let me down yet. Like even something like Crawl was like one of the best movies I've seen in 2020.
That was really good. Yeah, very suspenseful.
So they're just, they're just like, banging out winners. I would be really surprised to see, like if, Sam is part of this and Bruce is part of this, executive producers, that they're going to, let the ball drop on this. I don't see that at all. So I think Evil Dead fans should be excited for that, I think. So we've got some CW news, actually Cartoon Network alum into CW news with the Powerpuff Girls. There was some casting news that Sith's going to talk about. And, to be quite honest with you, I know people are kind of like, on the fence about it, but I'm actually really excited to see what they're going to bring to the table.
Yeah, I would say this cast is getting me more excited because, of course, we have, the live action Powerpuff Girls coming out. So first is Chloe Bennett, who's going to play Blossom. She was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She played Daisy. And then we also have here Yenna Paul. Did I say that right? Yeah, Yenna Peralt. Sorry. She also did some Broadway stuff, and she's going to be on this as well, which is super exciting. And then let's see, Dove Cameron. I would say she actually tweeted back in 2013 that she wanted to be a part of something Powerpuff Girls related, maybe like a movie or something. So she's kind of getting her wish now, which is super awesome.
Yeah. So if you guys aren't familiar, this is going to be part of the Berlantiverse, which you know what, I'm going to say this in passing. If you guys aren't watching Superman and Lois, man, this show is off the charts good. Yeah. It's so fantastic. Just the dynamic, of Superman and, being a father and being a husband, really, really beautiful stuff. Especially when it comes to one of, not to get into spoilers, but, his one kid, is starting to harness, certain powers and whatnot. But he also has, very deep, like social anxiety and, kind of reminds me of, like maybe powers, kind of puts him on the spectrum to a certain degree because he can't really control, what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just really beautifully written. And, everybody in that cast is just fantastic. But, I'm not a huge follower of The Flash or, Legends of Tomorrow, any of that, Berlanti stuff for the most part. But this excites me, just the idea that, we're going to see these, young ladies as adults. I think if they play their cards right, it'll be pretty interesting. We'll see though. I know a lot of people aren't too pleased about it, but I don't know, just kind of like that Rogue One meme, when you see Mads Mikkelsen out in the country and he goes, "It's a comfortable life," because I don't let that stuff bother me. Like,
yeah,
I can live.
You want to be excited about it, be excited about it. Yeah.
We actually obviously did the WandaVision retrospective for our last episode. We just wanted to quickly get into WandaVision series finale. There's a lot of people that, have their feelings on it, just like everything else, it's mixed, people loved it, people hated it, whatever. I would dare say, me personally, I thought it was a masterwork. I thought it was really well done. And I think it really landed a lot of planes that I was expecting it to land. And, I didn't really go in with all these, theoretical expectations. So, it was, although it was fun to theorize, I kept myself grounded in the regard of, maybe this isn't going to be the X-Men. Maybe this isn't going to be Doctor Strange. You know what I mean? Like it would have been cool if that happened. But my main focus was the two characters that I loved. It was Wanda and Vision. And for me, just like every single time that they're on the screen, their chemistry is absolutely undeniable.
Oh yeah.
Just dealing with the idea of grief and depression and, sometimes doing really horrible things to get what you want. That's the one thing, man. Wanda Maximoff did a really terrible thing.
It kind of seems like she got off the hook a little bit in the end, spoilers. She just kind of like,
bye,
go away, bye, peace out. And that was it. Like everybody just kind of let her go. I mean, how do you stop her though, after you just, saw what she can do?
Yeah.
But
everything she did, even the moment, spoilers, we'll say spoilers every time you guys haven't seen it, but it has been a week. So we hope you guys, are actually able to follow it. But
go watch it right now.
the costume reveal was one of the greatest things I've seen in the longest time. I actually got teary-eyed more from that than the actual interaction between Wanda and Vision, all the emotional stuff.
It was beautifully put together. Like it was detailed, but not too much. Like
Yeah, so much so that Disney was just like, you know what? the reveals out there, and they put all kinds of Scarlet Witch merchandise out there like the day after, like, you know what I mean? Like dolls
okay,
and all
here you
kinds.
go.
They just, and people, bought that stuff, me included, on pre-order immediately when it came out. But yeah, I really, there's a couple moments that really, like touched me, and that, one of them was the fact that, when they're walking back to the house, and your first time ever you're seeing the real Scarlet Witch and Vision walking side by side with each other, which was just like, oh my God, like that's
beautiful.
And of course, their dynamic with each other was absolutely, wonderful and amazing. But I think it was when she actually turned around to her boys and she said, "Thanks for choosing me to be your mom."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, just right in the heart.
Yeah.
Well, first of all,
Instantly
like
cried.
it's very, like if you're a parent, it's very heartfelt to hear her say something like that. And then on top of that, it's like, what the hell does she mean? Like, choose, So it also, like it also keeps the puzzle going. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very ominous thing to say to your kids.
Yeah.
It's very, it's very loving and, that kind of stuff. But at the same time, it's like, what do you mean choose? What do you know, Wanda, that you're not telling us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think she knows something for sure. I think there's something that she's holding back.
Mm-hmm. And can we just give it up for Catherine Hahn? She, I think the one thing that I loved about this, particular series is, like I've always been a huge fan of Catherine Hahn. And now, like there's just this whole Han fandom that like, just blossomed from the show. You know what I mean? And I love seeing that because she's such a wonderful character actor. And she just brought it like as Agatha Harkness. She was wonderful. And she's already said, I guess in interviews, she's like, I'm so, I would be so excited to return to the MCU.
Oh yes, please do.
Please make that happen.
Please
make that happen. Because, as Wanda did, say she probably one of the worst punishments you can think of, where she's just like, you're a witch. You live in this town that I screwed up, and people are all, crazy and, hateful about supers and witches and stuff. But you're going to live here as the nosy neighbor that you always wanted to be.
She's mostly known as a comedy actor. She's very satire based, but just like her performance in this was so layered. You could just see the different emotions in her eyes. It wasn't even her whole face. It was all in the eyes.
Yeah. And then of course, if there's nothing, there's a ton of stuff that stood out, but I think for me, and maybe you guys can agree with me, I kind of had I think we all had an idea that was going to happen with Monica, that a scroll was going to show up and say like, oh, somebody wants you up there, like,
yeah, it
kind of seemed like the thing.
Yeah.
But seeing Wanda Maximoff, which personally I think she was actually there's a place in Marvel Comics called Wundagore Mountain, which is where the creator of the Darkhold, which is actually the book that was introduced in WandaVision, the creator's name is Chthon, and he is just this like just really evil demonic entity. And in the comics, he was the one that actually gave Wanda her powers when she was a little girl, and he was kind of like placed in the middle of this mountain, so like he can't do any harm or whatever. So I think she's actually there channeling Chthon through this Darkhold. But just seeing her, not even just the fact that we were told that, like she has more power than the Sorcerer Supreme. This woman is making hot tea. She's picking up the kettle barehanded. And then, like she's not even asleep when she's like astral projecting, reading this like, evil tome. Like this woman is so freaking powerful now.
The last end credits scene, like what you were saying, when she was making the tea, she was fully awake when she was doing it. But when Doctor Strange was doing it, he had to be completely asleep.
Yep.
So she doesn't really know how to harness her powers, but she knows how to learn quick.
Well, the thing with Doctor Strange, I don't want to, take anything, I don't want to take anything away from Doctor Strange, because he's very powerful. If you remember, kind of what she was doing in Endgame was, or what she was doing at the end of this was more like Infinity War, where he was actually channeling to try to find that one particular solution. Went through 40,000 different, multiverses to find that one thing that unfortunately Tony didn't want to hear. But that's the kind of power that she has. And then, according to Agatha, like, and then some, like she's a threat. She says, even when she turned into the Scarlet Witch, she says, you have no idea what you've done.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You have no idea what you've unleashed.
Yeah, the way she said it was so sincere, and like you just royally screwed up.
Yeah. And then on top of that, when she hears her kids, as she's reading the Darkhold, obviously
That was interesting.
Yeah. But, like as a mother, I'm certain you can understand, Sith, me as a parent as well. Like, if you can do anything to save your kids from a horrifying situation, you're going to do that. And I think that's where, all this stuff that, people were projecting for this particular series, like this 9-part series, is going to happen in Doctor Strange. She's going to rip apart the worlds to find her children.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm just so excited for that movie. Like you just have no idea. And the fact that we have to wait until March of next year, like
I know. I understand, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I need it now that the show is done. I need something else.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got Falcon the Winter Soldier coming up.
Yep.
So let's talk about that for a second. Are you guys excited about that? I'm actually more amped about it now than I was initially. The thing I appreciate about Disney and Marvel is the fact that they are, like putting their side characters on a board, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the chessboard, and making them just as important as, say, the Caps and, the Tony Starks and this and that. Although I love, the storyline, for Sam, and the Winter Soldier, Bucky Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't necessarily call them my favorites. So I wasn't necessarily like really amped about this, particular series. I don't know. What are your feelings on it? Like I am, like, from what I've seen, from the trailers, what I've supposedly read, when it comes to like, supposed leaks and whatever. I think this definitely has a lot more to offer than we're thinking. I don't think it's just, like kind of slam bam action just for the sake of action. I think it's another thing that's going to put Marvel, just like WandaVision, in a different trajectory when it comes to different characters and stuff like that. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, on Falcon?
I wasn't super overly excited about it. Again, they're not in my top favorite characters, even as far as side characters go. But I'm just curious to see, now that we've seen what they can do with side characters, what they're, I want to see what they're going to do. If they're going to make this big like WandaVision, if they're going to throw a bunch of, loops around there, or if it's going to be pretty straightforward. But I'm getting more excited for sure as time goes on.
What are your thoughts on it, Di? Because I don't know. Personally, it does. For me, if somebody that knows you, that is a friend of yours, it doesn't seem like something that you're just like really jumping for joy about right now.
I mean, I'm not as excited for Falcon as much as I was for WandaVision, but Disney did release those promotional posters, so we are going to see Zemo come back, and he's one of the arch rivals of the Avengers. So I don't know. I'm just interested to see how they're going to take Sam's backstory, because again, like a lot of people didn't really care for Wanda, and now she's huge. So
yeah,
I'm thinking that Sam's going to just get the same respect with whatever they do. I'm more excited for Loki personally, but I think that they're going to make the show just as amazing.
So I know that we talk about Marvel quite a bit here, but I'm a huge DC fan. Are you guys, first of all, you're fans of Superman, you're fans of Batman, like these, different properties. And also like, are you amped at all to sit there for 4 hours and watch this epic thing come into play? Finally, after years and years of speculation, years of it supposedly not existing, studio, saying like, we don't know what you're talking about. Zack Snyder saying, we don't know what you're talking about. Fans, like literally buying billboards and doing all kinds of things saying like, release the Snyder cut. And now, not only does it exist, but we're going to see it in all of its glory on HBO Max. And it just looks phenomenal. What are your thoughts on Justice League?
I would say I have actually been a loose fan of Justice League since I was a kid. My dad was very much so into it was Superman and Batman in our house, and that was it. There was no Marvel. It was just DC. And so I was around it, but I wasn't in it. But I used to watch like the older, like the cartoons, the movies and stuff, and just to see how far it's come and how intense Zack Snyder is going to make it. I'm excited. I just everything about it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
So.
What about you, Di?
I don't know. I've always been more of a Marvel fan, but I've always loved Batman, especially Harley Quinn, before she became popular. But
Me too. All the way in '92. That's when I fell in love with Harley Quinn.
Exactly.
First introduction, Batman the animated series.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like after seeing the trailers for the new Justice League and us talking about it, it is getting me more excited than I would have been initially. So definitely gonna dedicate the weekend to this.
4 hours.
Well, the thing is that even now, Walter Hamada and the DC studio heads are still pushing back on Zack on this vision. They don't want anything to do with it. They just wanted to put it out. I think we mentioned in one of our earlier episodes that they wanted to put it out in storyboard form until HBO Max actually gave Zack, $70 million. Like, no, get out there and do the special effects.
Do it.
Like that's ridiculous. I think Zack has not only the ability to change the trajectory of where DC is going in terms of their films, because this is supposed to be a 3-part Lord of the Rings trilogy that has, obviously, it's not, people thought it was Man of Steel and then Batman v Superman and then this. No, not the case. There was supposed to be 2 movies after this one, that deal with, Darkseid and the whole apocalyptic situation, and it just continues on.
Yeah.
And he's wanted to do it in comic book form, and DC has pushed him away so many times. He's just like, no, this story is a one and done. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to continue with the trilogy. That's not what we're doing here. And I hope that the studio heads are listening, because the fans are talking. And I honestly think, and this is my greatest prediction for this film right here, this is the time where our voices are the loudest. And I've heard this on social media many times through the week. If you watch this film, if you watch 4 hours of it, if you talk about it, if you show how passionate you are about it, this is the time for us to make things happen for not only the film, but also Zack Snyder's vision, because Zack should be running, as the Kevin Feige of DC, 100%. So that's our show, guys. This is episode 5. We've hit a mark. It's number 5. We're actually at a steady, even number, steady number. Sith actually wanted to say something to you guys before we end off here, in terms of, your interaction and what we actually want from our fans when it comes to this show.
Yeah. So in interacting with fans and on social media, it's a very tricky game. I play with algorithms all the time with my job, and it's always changing. But the main thing is share it as much as you can. Just tell people about it. Just a quick share to your page, anything like that. As soon as you start watching the video, don't even think about it. Just click the like button. It takes 2 seconds and then it's on there. And the more likes and the more traction we get, we could start doing stuff like watch parties or trailer reactions. Just the more love that we get from you guys, the more love we can give back. So,
and we're getting a love from you guys. Obviously.
Yes, absolutely.
We got over 1,000 views on the last episode. So, we are very, very grateful for you guys, but we also want this to be a community, just like with our, with our groups and all the conversations that we have on social media. This is a place for you guys, to rest your hat and talk about the things that you're passionate about. So, if you don't like something that we do like, if you, disagree with us or you agree with us or excited about something just like we are, you have to leave it in the comments. Like,
talk about it.
Is the place to be. And we will pay attention to what you have in terms of your thoughts, your feelings, your theories, or whatever. This is your place. This Pop Jedi is your forum. So with that, we're out of here. We'll see you for episode 6. Like she said, please like and subscribe. Anything we can get in terms of support only helps you. If you like us and want us to watch things together and that kind of thing. We've got all that planned out, but it all, starts with you. So thank you guys again. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next week. Hugs.